Whenever good men and women fight and die, I will assuage the fevered brow and care for the wounded, because I am the medic.
Just to see the team out there in the uniforms of World War I and to see the instruments that they had, and to put some context to the lanes of here's what our ancestors of Army medicine 100 years ago were doing, taking care of their soldiers just like we are today, having that pride of knowing that they are not going to leave a fallen comrade.
We have infused history of World War I specifically for this event. Because it's the centennial of the U.S. participation, we wanted to have the candidates have that feel of the heritage that came 100 years before them, to have an idea of that they're not the first ones to do this, but we have a long history and heritage within the Army Medical Department. Cantini is the first assault, and that's actually significant because we actually took territory, occupied a village that had gone back and forth between the French and the Germans, and we held it.
And then they hold it for 3 days against heavy German counterattacks. And the Germans are using gas as part of their normal artillery preparation for their counterattacks.
American units who trained for gas warfare did well, but the big thing that we see out of here that a medic would have to deal with is immediate treatment. So phosgene and chlorine, you've got to allow them to breathe. So once it dissipates 30 minutes where the wind blows and it's out of the trenches, they're able to evacuate those casualties. Using that method, having a system to follow is what we can pull from the past for the future.
We are simulating the Battle of Cantigny. Our teams are leaving the trench behind us. They're coming up. They will encounter a chemical attack. They'll react to the chemical attack. As they go forward, they will be given green smoke to cover their movement. They'll encounter a patient. They'll assess the patient. They'll move that patient to the patient decon area. And once he's at the patient decon area, they'll do the patient decon, and then that will complete their lane.
Chateau Thierry in mid-July 1918. It's the last German offensive of the war, and one end of the German attack hits the 3rd Infantry Division, and they just stop the Germans cold. But one infantry regiment is scattered out as an outpost zone, squads, platoons, little fire teams here and there dotted through the countryside. And the medics have to go out and take care of those patients and then bring them back to the battalion aid station. And there were also litter bearers whose job was to carry them back to the battalion aid station, and another set of litter bearers would typically take them back from the battalion aid station to the ambulance company. The faster you get a guy back to surgical care, the better for him. It's not rocket science, and it's not rocket science today, but they learned that.
So this lane is all about the ambulance exchange point. This is going to be where our medics are tested, where they can go out and select the best possible point to receive casualties from the forward line of troops. So they're going to help cut down the time that the medic on the battlefield has to transport its patients back to the BAS. Back in World War I, there weren't a lot of really established medical platforms or anything along those lines. This motorized transport was their biggest way of transferring patients from the front line all the way back to where they can get care at a Roll 1 or a Roll 3 hospital at the old MASHs or something along those lines. So that's what we're trying to really emulate here, where they have to go up forward, grab those patients, and bring them back. That way they can get their medic back in the fight.
This is the the Battle of Chateau Thierry. So they're at the front line, Row 1A station, receiving casualties from the Marne River.
Roger, I have a 26-year-old male with bilateral GSW to the legs.
So far, they're motivated. They just came off of about a 4 to 5 mile run, so they're a little gassed. As you can see, they're trying to regroup. They don't know what's ahead of them, but they know it's going to be physical. The Tactical Combat Casualty Care Lane, which consists of a care under fire, tactical field care, and tactical evacuation care.
Once we get into San Miguel, that's significant because it's actually led by American troops. So you have Pershing in charge of several corps of the U.S. Army, and within that corps, of course, you have several divisions assaulting against the Germans.
Rifle skills were a big thing for General Pershing, the U.S. commander in Europe. He wanted the U.S. troops not to get bogged down in the trenches and spend another few years attacking 100 meters at a time. He wanted us to punch through and then operate as riflemen in open country. He thought that was a very American way to fight.
Your 20 minutes starts now.
11:15. All right, slow as you move fast here, okay?
You have the unique situation in the American Army where you have a story of Alvin York, who initially, when he's going out to no man's land to try to take a position, he's not in charge. And so he's in a situation where he eventually becomes in charge because either his officers or NCOs are wounded or killed. So he's left in charge, and soldiers are taking instruction from him. And the way he described taking out the Germans as they were coming to him in a line was the same way he used to take out turkeys. He would shoot the one furthest away because he didn't want the front German to react. So he shot the guy in the back consecutively until the first couple Germans got the idea, and then they said, "No more, we give up, you're killing us."
The tie-in to this particular lane is a particular battle during World War I at the Moose Argonne Forest, where Sergeant Alvin York was actually in a battle and was injured. It is where he received his Medal of Honor citation. So we've used Sergeant York as the main casualty in a bomb crater about 25 meters from a German machine gun nest. So we've kind of replicated that scenario where he actually did go in and charge a machine gun position, German machine gun position, and was wounded in that battle. The lane is set up and designed to put the candidates, the best medics, through both a physical and mental challenge of moving through obstacles, taking care of casualties, treating different types of wounds and casualties, just putting them through a very rigorous physical exercise, as well as having them shoot at targets while they're out here. The whole point is to really try to fatigue them, stress them out as much as possible, and still have them be able to perform their duties in those conditions.
Line 2, no freak team 49, Bravo, break.
Is he breathing?
He's breathing.
Is he conscious?
He is alert and conscious.
Okay.
Somewhere on these fields today is another medic Rose. There's another medic Evans. There's another medic Desmond Doss, who instead of running away from the fire turns in to take care of his fallen. That's why we're here today, to memorialize and recognize the combat medic. Huh?
Another one. Best medic competition, let's go!